That's roughly okay. It's a little weird, but it'll work. Okay, so what do I start with? Do I do this? All right, so right now we have memory-based education, which means this is all we can bring to class. Little note card. We don't always get this. So, you can write a little bit on this. Be like, I'll write down the quadratic formula or whatever. That's it. We get this. Okay, we have memory-based education, which means we have to remember everything. Also, I'm not really sure if that's what it's called. That's just what I'm calling it for this video. So it's not about doing things. It's not about figuring out what connects with what. It's just, can you remember it? And can you, throw it onto the test in the correct way? That's it. So, instead of this little note card, for some classes, like maybe a chemistry class or something, we have a sheet of paper. Now, you might be wondering, one sheet of paper? Why? Also, why is it hole punched? I automatically hole punch paper, okay? Sorry. But if we have a sheet of paper for every class, and it's you have to figure out which class you're going to write information down for. Yeah, you're right. This is a bit of a mess. But it might be what we need to start with instead of the note card. Of course, this might be a little bit more useful. This is definitely just something I got off Amazon. It's not recommended. It's not recommended. It's an item that I have in the house. Anyways, if we were to have one standardized page for every single class, someone could simply turn to the page, see at least a little bit of whatever information they need, and then actually work on their stuff. We could, of course, totally change the education system, but if we're going to keep sort of the same thing as what we have, we need this. So what are we going to call this? You could call it a commonplace book. It's a little bit weird because if we're using it for school, it's kind of like creating your own personal Google, but in a book, which doesn't really make any sense in the modern era, because why wouldn't you just use Google? The thing is, if we're not going to allow internet into classrooms, and we're not going to allow AI or any of the other methods for, learning anything or altering information or whatever else into the classroom, the first thing we have to do is this for every single class. So for chemistry, it might be like the atomic mass of something. Maybe you don't want to remember what hydrogen is, but you got to use it. And for whatever reason that isn't on the test, and for whatever reason there are questions on that. This will work. It'll suck. You could have this for history class, not have to remember all the dates for everything. Okay? Drives me crazy. I can remember that sort of thing pretty easily. I can only imagine how crazy it must be for someone who can't remember. This sort of thing definitely would have been very useful for me in a language class, because wow, I have no idea what's happening when it comes to foreign languages. But this is obviously better than the note card, okay? It's a lot bigger. A lot bigger. It's it's a lot bigger. It's a lot easier to regulate. A note card, are they bigger? Are they smaller? I don't know. Somebody might make one that looks kind of weird. With a sheet of paper, if we just say it's a certain size, it should be pretty easy to see, because we can just stack them on top of each other, and if one looks weird, well, that one's not good enough. It's the wrong size. Another benefit, obviously, is that we don't just need one sheet of paper. So if every single year you added one more sheet, eventually you get this. Might take 100 years, might take 200 years, but you'll get there. We could, of course, double it, although if you double it for 20 years, you get 1 million. So maybe don't. You know, because it's like 500,000 times 2 is a lot. And it doesn't actually take that long to get there. But if we're just adding one page, that should give us some time to adjust, figure out how it works, and adjust our systems accordingly. So, I hope to see some of you in the comments. And that's it. All right, bye.